Hey folks, I hope all of you are having a great day. So we have some good news from President Biden and Nancy Pelosi about the fourth stimulus check that I want you to know. Definitely don't miss out on this video. Senate Republicans and Democrats have finally reached a deal on $10 billion in additional stimulus funding. According to CNBC, the amount is less than half the sum that President Biden had requested to bring to the nation's stimulus aid. And Republican Senator Mitt Romney told reporters that he had a deal with Chuck Schumer to cover the spending by redirecting money from the American Rescue Plan that was passed last year. The funding is far less than $22.5 billion that the White House had requested from Congress. House Democrats originally sought to pass $15 billion in stimulus money earlier this month as part of a larger government funding package. But Nancy Pelosi pulled the funding after Republicans and Democrats failed to agree on how to exactly pay for it. This is causing some confusion. Back in the spring of 2020, millions of people lost their jobs and, thankfully, lawmakers put an eviction ban into place at that time to prevent a widespread homelessness crisis. Lawmakers also voted to allocate roughly $46 billion toward rental assistance, but the money that was earmarked for rental assistance was not distributed at the federal level, the same way stimulus checks were. Rather, that money was given out at the state level, and it was then the responsibility of each individual state to set up a rental assistance program. Some states, however, have yet to distribute the rental assistance money that was allocated to them. So now the federal government is asking that money back and giving it to a group of states that it claims they need it the most. This means more stimulus money will be going out soon. And even though the federal government didn't take it upon itself to distribute rent relief funds, it wants to make sure that all of the money gets distributed to the people who need it. For months, it's been pressuring governors and states with unspent relief funds to hand back that money. Now they're going a step further by actively taking the money back. In some cases, the federal government is going after states with a relatively low share of renters. The unused stimulus funds in question are being redirected to states with a higher percentage of renters. Are you in need of rental assistance, and will you be claiming this stimulus relief fund? Tell me down in the comments. Check Social Security and SSI, SSDI information that you have to know. So you want to be sure to stay until the end of the video, folks. So we will see a lot of action be taken by congressional Democrats this week. Lawmakers are going to be very busy with a packed to-do list, which includes potential election reform, government funding, and getting important parts of President Biden's economic agenda signed into law. So the slow movement on getting any bills passed in Congress has definitely prompted some angst among Democrats, specifically the frontliners running for re-election. With Biden's approval ratings drastically decreasing, Democratic lawmakers are scrambling to demonstrate success by delivering on past promises to the American people, like curbing prescription costs. But there remains a big obstacle in the way, and that is Joe Manchin. I know many of you were disappointed when Manchin came out in opposition to the package, but some Democrats are urging the Senate to pass a chunk of the bill before others. A group of lawmakers want to advance the $555 billion portion of the package focused on combating the climate crisis.
Mona, if you had to say bullish, bearish, or kind of a little bit of a mixture, depends on the stock, where are you right now, Mona?
Yeah, probably that third option. Look, one thing to keep in mind, Joe, is that we're coming off the back of 3 years of very strong S&P gains, over 20% on average for the last 3 years. So yes, we've come into 2022 with many challenges, to growth, inflation, the Fed, and we're still down about 6% on the S&P. So the resilience has been pretty notable. Keep in mind, generally, we think in a higher inflation environment, equities can outpace the rate of inflation. Within equities, we think there are parts of the market that can pass along costs. If you think about those more defensive parts of the market, healthcare, staples, even utilities, which we've seen hold up nicely this year, those parts we think continue to fare well, especially as we get later cycle. The value rotation we still think has another leg here, especially as we get to spring and summer months and we start to get a little bit more reopening demand. So that's a part of the market we continue to favor near term. But more broadly, we think with earnings growth, probably mid-single digits this year and some valuation